Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast, and today we are preparing for the week of March 15th to the 19th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar. And in terms of what's coming up here, today, of course, it was the daylight saving time shift for us, so I'm still a little tired. It's it's supposed to be 9 o'clock for me, but or it was supposed to be 10 o'clock, and now it's 9 o'clock. All right, so let's dive into this. So first of all, we have Reserve Bank of Australia. Governor Lau speaking here. We do have retail sales numbers and industrial production numbers coming out of China. So it would be interesting to see what the markets are doing there, and any sort of positive sign would actually be good because it would be good because that would sort of set the tone for the rest of the world as well, or the expectation. Coming up on Monday, not a ton. We have monetary policy meeting minutes here from Australia. And Tuesday here, we have Bank of Japan. So anytime we have a central banker speaking, even though they have been towing the line, but there's always that option that they could make some changes, either add more stimulus, or sorry, I should say monetary policy stimulus, or they can take away that, which can, so any sort of expectation in change of interest rates can make a difference in what happens in the market. There were concerns that inflation may go up, but we've been going back and forth on those. So but anytime the central bank speaks, it's very important. We do have core retail sales numbers, and then parliamentary elections here in Europe. Okay, Wednesday is important. So first of all, CPI numbers for Canada. So if you're trading the Canadian dollar, this will be important. We do have housing starts here. Housing market doing extremely well right now because of, one, there's low supply of stuff on the market because not as many people are interested in selling with COVID. And on top of that, we also have extremely low, or the lowest interest rates we have ever seen, which is causing almost a bit of a housing bubble. So any numbers that come out positive here will be good. Fed here, again, I'm not expecting a change in the policy itself, but their commentary can drive the market. So this is very important. Anything that we can basically get from the Fed statement, if they're towing the line, just keeping everything the same. Last time we did hear that Powell was not concerned about the inflation. That's a positive thing. So we will keep an eye on that. GDP numbers from New Zealand. So right now, they're supposed to be lower than the previous numbers, which is to be expected. And at this point, anything that is higher than that number expectation would be good for New Zealand dollar. And then we have employment numbers here. So looks like they're moving in the right direction. So if that's the case, that would be good for Australian dollar. And of course, on Thursday here, we have Bank of England monetary policy statement here. Again, not expecting any change at the time, but it will be more, I think they will try to move the markets more by the commentary going forward. I don't think the interest rates are going to change for quite some time, or at least in the next year, but they will try to drive them before they change the rates. They will do they will have a commentary that will lead to that. So we will have plenty of notice from that. ADP non-farm employment numbers for Canada here, and then we have Bank of Japan. So last week we had a lot of central banks, and this week we have a lot of central banks here as well. So Japanese yen hasn't done well, and with the monetary policy statement here, any sort of loosening of the monetary policy will actually be bad for Japanese yen. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then retail sales numbers here for Canada. The Friday seems a little light on news here. So it's the middle Wednesday and Thursday. That's where we can expect volatility. All right, so let's go on to our charts here. We'll start off with euro dollar. So with the euro here, we do have a neutral candle. As we can see, price did come down into 1.1831, but then has bounced off of this level. So at this point, we could see a further move higher. And so first here, I would be looking for a retest of 1.20, and then potentially even 1.2030, or so let's say 1.2050 is what we are looking at. So looking for basically price to go higher. Now, what we'll have to be careful about here would be something like this could happen. Price goes into our the top of the candle or with the previous level here and then turns around, or we could see this entire move filled and then it come back. So that's sort of what I'm expecting here. I'm looking for price to go back up a little bit more. So bias here is neutral. So we'll have to wait. This is not right now. We did have that nice trend from pin bar here. We did get that follow through move, but now it's time for pullbacks here. So bias is neutral for the euro. I would say we could see a move all the way into 1.2100. So it could go back all the way up there. So neutral bias here for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, pound on Friday dropped a bit, but pound has overall just been trading in this range here. It hasn't really moved a whole lot. It dropped, but then it's been going sideways here. Now, what I'd be looking for here would be a retest of the high here. And then if it doesn't hold, basically we're looking for a drop here. So for that to happen though, we need to see a drop through 1.3800. If it holds above, then we could look, we may have another sideways move here. So on Friday we saw a drop, so this could continue lower here. So right now, looking at the daily here, we can see it's been stuck in this range for a couple of weeks, looking for further range bound move. And if it doesn't go through, like I said, we are likely, so something like this is what I would expect. So back into the range. Now we do have Bank of England policy that can make a difference, but for now, looking for a move between 1.40 and 1.38. Aussie dollar here, this one as well has been kind of been going sideways here. It's been getting stuck at this level. So looking at the weekly, as we can see, this is the range that previously was trading in, and now it's stuck in this range here again. For the week, though, we do have a bit of a bullish candle for this one as well. And in this case, I'd be looking for a retest of the, so we could get a retest of 0.7875, so it could go back up here. Now, important thing to remember is if it holds here, right, just like it did here, see how price held here and then it made another leg higher. So same thing here. If price holds here, if it doesn't break through it, we could see another leg higher here as well. So right now, price is not, it's kind of in the middle right now. It doesn't have clear direction. So either it needs to continue higher, in which case we'd be looking for that follow through higher. But right now, for the last 2 weeks, it hasn't really done anything. It's still sideways, just like we saw for pound dollar. Price has gone sideways, hasn't really moved in any direction. Same thing here. We do have a bullish candle. So I'm looking to see if it can get to 0.7875. If it does, then we're looking for that continuation higher, or at least retest of the high here. But the problem here that we are going to face would be right into this previous support resistance level 0.78. If it doesn't go through, basically we're looking for a move lower, and once it breaks through this level, this entire move can get filled and the target will be this here. So right now, like I said, right in the middle, we are waiting for direction on this. So bias here is neutral as well for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here, this one as well, just on the daily here, it's been stuck in this little range. Looking at the weekly chart, as we can see, this one also, there's a neutral candle here. Again, similar thing to what we saw for Aussie, the candle close is not as good. So with this one here, see how price held? If it holds here, then, or sorry, same thing, if it holds here, so just like it held here, we could see that leg higher. So we'll have to see, can it hold above this level and break through this resistance level? Then we will be looking for a continuation, but it's not quite there yet. It's neutral. So at this point, I am looking for a bit of a range bound move unless it breaks. If it breaks through the support here, then we'd be looking for price to come back all the way into the support resistance level. So right now it's neutral. Candle close for the week is completely neutral. It's a spinning top. So we'll have to wait. It is not set up yet. So at this point, I'm just going to put the two support resistance levels on both the sides here, just so that once we see the break, we know which direction to trade in. So we're waiting for a break and direction from the market here. In the meantime, bias is neutral for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here looking quite bearish. Now, keep in mind, it is into support. This is where it turned around the last time here. So we saw the price come into support and then bounce off, and it is into that support again, but it is looking bearish. So bias here is to the downside. And in terms of the target here, we're looking at 1.2368. So 1.2370 will be the target. Now we could get a pullback into 1.2575. So keep that in mind. So it could bounce off here like this and then continue lower. So bias is to the downside. This is the type of move I would anticipate. It may only come up to this level, which is, if we go all the way, right in there. So it could come up to this level or retest a little bit higher, but I'm looking for some sort of a pullback before it continues lower. So bias is bearish. First target 1.2370 and then 1.2250. Euro pound here kind of stuck here in the bottom. It's trying to turn around, hasn't really been successful yet. So right now a bias here is neutral to bearish here. It hasn't been able to do anything at this point. So we could get a retest here of 0.8640. And then if it holds back into the support level once again. So this is where it's stuck for the last 3 weeks. So I am looking for a bit more of a pullback and then a further drop. So neutral bias for this one as well. Euro Swiss franc here. This one is going sideways. It's been stuck in this range here for a little bit. So still trading in the range. We do have a nice bullish candle close, so I would be looking for a move higher towards 1.1150. So bias here is bullish, but just keep in mind that this has been going sideways, so it could turn here right into this resistance. So something like this could happen. Just be aware of that, but bias is bullish. 1.1150 is the next target. Pound Swiss franc here, this one as well. On the daily here, hasn't really done a whole lot. It's been stuck in this sideways move, but it is holding. It's holding here. It's holding that those levels here. But as we can see, price is starting to get compressed. So here, price is spread out. but here it's getting compressed. It's not moving anywhere. So even though our weekly shows a bullish candle close, but price hasn't really been able to break through the resistance, and this could cause a problem. So bias here, I would say neutral to bullish. If it doesn't go through this resistance level at 1.2980, we are looking for a turnaround here. So this is where for last 3 weeks, as we can see, price has not been able to break this resistance. Many times when that happens, things can turn around. So right now, neutral bias here, neutral to slightly bullish. It does have bullishness in it. And if it goes through the 1.2980 level here, then we are definitely looking for the next level higher. But right now, it's just in that place where it's still trying to decide. So neutral to bullish bias here. Once it gets through 1.2980, 1.31 will be the target. But if it fails here, then we are looking for 1.28 and then potentially lower levels. Dollar Swiss franc, this one as well, price is holding here, so we do have a bullish candle close, but again, price is right into resistance here. It hasn't been able to break that resistance yet. So in this case as well, this is neutral to bullish. If it doesn't go through, we are back into this sideways move here. But if you were to look on, so this is the daily, but if you were to look on a weekly, we see that price is struggling here. So right now it's right into resistance, neutral candle, and when we have neutral candles, things can turn around. So in this case, I will look for a retest, and then if it fails, we're looking for price to drop back down. So 0.9365 is the level to watch. If it holds below, we're looking for a move back, and once it starts to turn here, this entire move, this was a strong move up, which can get filled. So we similarly here as well, we have seen this strong move higher, got stuck, and then it got filled. The whole move got reversed. So that's what I would expect. But for that, it would have to break through this 0.9230 level. So right now, neutral bias for dollar Swiss franc. Pound yen here, this has been going up as well. And as we can see here, it's coming towards the resistance level here. Bias is still bullish. And this was similar setup to what we just saw. I think it was dollar Swiss franc here. So for 2 weeks, price was stuck and then it blew through that level. So this is why the dollar Swiss franc is it still has the bullishness. Okay, so this one looking quite bullish here. Bias is to the upside. Now, only thing is Bank of England, no, sorry, not Bank of England, Bank of Japan statement, and that could make a difference. And of course, we do have Bank of England for this one as well. For all the yen crosses, we will have to keep an eye on Bank of Japan statement. For this one here, we have Bank of England coming out as well. I believe it was on Thursday. So something to watch out for on Thursday, which things can change. But right now, looking bullish, I will look for a bit of a pullback into 150.65 level potentially, and then looking for a continuation towards a 153.80. So bias is bullish here for pound yen. Euro yen, this is looking bullish here. Price actually was able to go through this resistance, and now we're looking for that continuation. So on a weekly, looking quite strong here. And our target here, first target is 130.70 and then 131.30. So bullish bias for Euro yen. Dollar yen here, this one also looking strong, but on the weekly here, it hasn't broken through the resistance yet. So this one, a little bit caution here, but looking bullish as well. Next target here is 109.80 here. So bias is bullish for dollar yen as well. Yen has not fared too well recently. Plus the stock market has been doing well. So when the stock market does well, our safe haven currencies don't do as well. So in this case, looking bullish, we could get a bit of a pullback towards 84 here before it continues further. But bias is bullish here, and the target, so I'm looking for something like this. Just keep in mind the high here at 85. That could be a bit of a struggle, but looking bullish. So 85 and then 85.60 are the next two levels to watch. New Zealand yen here. New Zealand yen also making a move higher, not as strong though. So in this case, we see the price has been stuck in this level and the candles are not looking as strong. So we'll have to be careful with this one. Bias is still bullish. The first target here would be 79.20. And if it doesn't make it through, then we are looking for price to turn around. So for now, neutral to bullish bias. And if it fails here, we could see a move back basically. So over the last 3 weeks here, this is the range it's been stuck in, and it could struggle with this. So neutral to bullish bias, and we just need to be careful with this one. CAD yen here looking extremely bullish here, and bias is bullish. We are right into that resistance. Next target here is 88. And then we have 88.65. So bullish bias here. So that's what I would be expecting. So bullish bias here for CAD yen. First target 88 and then 88.65. All right, so let's take a look at our commodities here. Silver going sideways, hasn't really done a whole lot. As we can see, price went and tested that resistance level, hasn't managed to get through it. So today we have a neutral bias. This is something I would be watching out for. We could get a bit of a retest higher, and then if it fails, I'd be looking for a drop here. So the first target is 24.85 and then 24.40 or 24. So bias here is neutral for silver. Gold here, gold on the other hand, it's also going sideways, but it did bounce off of that support level there. So right now this is looking neutral as well, but it could go higher. So we'll have to watch this one. It could go into 1761. So neutral bias for now. What I'm looking for essentially would be bit of a pullback, and then it could continue lower. So I'm looking for that higher pullback into 1761. For that, it will have to break through the weekly high from this week. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, a neutral bias for gold, for gold as well. Oil here, oil has held strong. It is into resistance right now, and all the way from here. So price has been quite bullish over the last little while here. Okay, so at this point, I'm looking for price to do a bit of a retest high at 67.90. If it fails, then this one basically, this move will get filled. So it does have slight bearishness in it. It's not quite, it's not very strong though. So neutral bias with this one as well. A lot of neutral candles at this time. Copper here wanting to push higher here. So here we go. Next target here would be 41.85. This one has been very volatile recently. So 4.185 is the next target here for copper. So bullish bias. Bitcoin here. Bitcoin looking quite strong. I think the current price here is into 59,000. So breaking through the resistance here. And same thing here, like we saw here, price went up, consolidated for a while, and then shot up. So once we see that break through the 60,000 mark, then we could get a further move to the upside here. So it's already broken through the 59. It's broken through the high here, and we're looking for continuation. So bias here is bullish for Bitcoin here. We may get a retest lower, so keep that in mind. But this is it's looking bullish. My chart won't come down, but it will repaint once the market's open. So looking bullish for Bitcoin. S&P 500, this one also looking bullish. The stimulus is always a good thing for the stock markets. So we are right into the resistance here. First, we'll have to wait for price to break through the resistance for continuation. But once it does that, we're looking at 40.20 will be the next target. So bullish bias here for S&P 500. And then Nasdaq here, Nasdaq is struggling a little bit. It has struggled over the last few weeks. So this candle close for the week is neutral. It's not as bullish. It does have some bullishness in it, but it is more neutral than anything. So next target here I will watch out for would be 13,340, but it would have to go through the weekly high. But the caution here would be this one could turn around and it may not happen. So that's something to watch out for. We have this bearish move and a pullback, and then we could see a continuation lower, but it's not quite set up yet. Price is still trying to decide that. So at this point, bias is neutral. I'm just going to leave a couple of these levels here and see which direction it wants to break. If it breaks through the resistance, then we are basically targeting the high here. We'll be looking for a move higher. But if it fails at 13,100, then looking for a move back down towards 12,300. And Dow Jones looking extremely bullish. It went through the resistance. It's at all-time highs and still looking bullish. Very, very strong close for the candle here. So looking for the next move higher, and 33,000 is the first target, and then 33,300 will be the next target. So bullish buys for Dow Jones here. DAX also looking bullish. It sat in this range for quite some time, and now it has broken out. So bias is bullish here as well. And our next target here, 14,800 will be the next target. So bullish bias for DAX as well. FTSE also closed really strongly into the resistance here. So this is looking bullish as well. Next target would be 68.35 and then 68.65. So bullish bias for FTSE as well. Next one here, Nikkei. Nikkei on the daily also looking bullish. So if we go to the weekly, we can see price came into the support, bounced off, and now looks like we could get a further move higher. So first target is 30,000 and then 30,500. So bias is bullish for Nikkei as well. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading week. Also, just to kind of announce again, I will be starting the Funded Trader Challenge, where you'd be able to get a funded account if you can show consistency. So we'll be starting it's basically the same thing as a Turning Pro challenge, but now we have funded account at the end of it. So announcements for that should be coming up next week. Next week, I'm just setting some things up here. So we'll see those announcements coming out sometimes this week. So keep an eye out for that. If you're on my mailing list, you will get an email from me. So if you're interested, please keep an eye on it. All right, you guys have a wonderful trading week, and I will see you again for the daily analysis. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.